What's up, everyone? Hunter and Drew here, Philly Insider. Just kind of touching on the state of the Phils right now. I don't think anyone expected them to win that series this weekend. It felt like they were never going to win a game again for a little bit there, to be quite honest. That Mets series was brutal. And Drew, I'm glad we weren't on here to talk about it because I was fuming during that series. So, how have you been doing, though?
Yeah, I've been doing pretty good. Better than the Phillies have been up until the last couple of games. It's hard to be much worse, but
Yes.
it was a good series win this weekend though for the Phils. They desperately needed that. They needed to break out of their offensive slump they were in. The offense this weekend looked pretty good overall. You're getting a lot of contributions from like Rojas and Stott, and even like Castellanos is staying hot a little bit, to an extent. So, yeah, it's good to see. And Harper's not even been Harper yet, so it's gonna be
Right.
nice whenever he finally gets going. I think his batting average is down in the 230s, so definitely need that to become a little bit higher.
Yeah, absolutely. You touched on a lot there. I think the offense waking up the way they did on Saturday was good to see. And then to see them last night, they had some hits in key spots. It was very good to see Trey do what he did because he's been pretty frustrating for the fan base so far, to say the very least. And I think Matt Gelb wrote about it. Like at some point, you just got to play like the star you're being asked to be. So that was good to see. Hopefully, a step in the right direction for him because if Trey isn't going to hit, none of this really matters. To be honest, like he has to be what he's supposed to be. Even if the defense sucks, like that's whatever. Like you can't have both be at subpar levels. So I think it was really good to see him last night do what he did. Go 3 for 5. I believe he had a pretty key hit at one point. I didn't get to watch the whole game, unfortunately, but it was also good to see Knowles do what he did too. I'm sure the wind helped keep the ball in the ballpark a little bit, which was nice, but that was very important. He's a guy, we've talked about him, like his velo, I think as the weather gets warmer, like everyone's saying, it will tick up. It's just, you have other guys now in that rotation. You have an embarrassment of riches. So where does he kind of fit into the equation once October rolls around? Like he's probably going to start a game, but like, what does that look like if he's going to pitch like he has with the weather being cold? But it was good to see him for the time being. Like he had a really good start last night against one of the better NL lineups for sure. And then Romano, he comes in, closes out the game in the 10th. That's why that's what they were doing. They were saving him for the 10th inning. Obviously, they wanted Romano in the biggest spot of the game. So, but I'm sure we were all holding our breath. But once we got that extra insurance run outside of the ghost runner, I felt a little bit better. I'm not going to say I thought we were going to win the game, but that was good to see, and it was good to see Romano do what he did. Like he definitely needed that. He needed that badly. His stuff's been getting better. The results just haven't been there, and he's been really disappointing to start his Phillies career. So very good to see him do what he did last night. I wanted to highlight those three guys.
Yeah, 100%. And kind of touching on the extra innings a little bit like you did, Alec Boehm, that ball was hit very, very well. Like that's probably going out. That ball is probably going out in a lot of places. Just, the Windy City, it's just not meant to be for him last night. But, man, that ball was crushed. I think I saw that the projected, like, distance on it was like 375 or something. So that ball was pretty well hit, to say the least. But, yeah, I think Boehm's kind of like breaking out of his, like, slump that he was in. But, the way Stott's been hitting at the top of the lineup, I don't know if you really mess with it. I think you might move Boehm up a little bit, but I don't want to move him up too far because the way he's hitting down there, if he's going to keep hitting like that, you can leave him there because the bottom of the lineup's been producing outside of JT, which that's a whole different topic. We'll get into that here in a minute. But, yeah, Boehm's been kind of breaking out a little bit, which is nice. And this team needs him. He's one of the biggest offensive producers this team has. I think he had 100 RBIs last year. So, you can't have him hitting, 220 or whatever he's hitting at this point. So, yeah. But like you said, Romano, that was good to see. He definitely needed that. Alvarado, good as usual. He's been pretty much locked down all season at this point. I think he had one or two bad outings, but he's been pretty consistently throwing 101 in the strike zone and throwing his nasty cutter. Nobody's hitting that if he's on. It's just very unlikely unless you're Yordan Alvarez in the playoffs.
Oh gosh, didn't need to bring up that memory, but oh man. But I did want to touch on, you mentioned Boehm and Stott, and I feel like those are two really important guys to touch on just because this is a crucial year for the both of them. And we saw Stott, he got some run as the leadoff hitter in 2023, and he was not the problem. He was hitting well. but they were not winning. And that has almost been the narrative so far this year. Like Stott has been great in the leadoff spot. He's working a lot of really good IVs. Like he's not the problem, but they haven't been winning for whatever reason. But that being said, I mean, just to highlight him, I mean, to see what he did this weekend too, the leadoff triple last night was great as well. You love to see that. He has been awesome in that spot, and I think he just deserves a lot of credit. He's seeing 4.5. I think if you round up, it's 4.6 pitches per plate appearance, which that's up from his 4.04 last year. I mean, that's a huge jump. That's a half point or a half a pitch right there. So he's doing his job in the leadoff spot. He seems very comfortable with that approach too. I know people get frustrated when he sees the first pitch go right down the middle and doesn't swing at it. Maybe you could see a little more aggression there for sure. I think there needs to be a balance between those approaches, but he's been great. I mean, he's been really good. He's hitting the ball like he was 2 years ago. Like last year, it was just not really there. He was much more patient, but like he's got 11 walks to 22 strikeouts this year. I mean, that's half. Like it's
good.
Really good. Really, really good. And he's over an 800 OPS. I don't know if it stays that way. To me, he's kind of like a 780 OPS guy probably. But regardless, that'll play because he's getting on base. He's putting the ball in play. And he is playing tremendous defense still. Like that is always going to carry you. You're always going to be a high floor player. And that's why I think regardless of how great or how, I don't know, I guess you could say like if Stott does ultimately disappoint this year, if that were to happen, I just think he's such a high floor player that any team would be lucky to have him as one of their key contributors, no matter where he is in the lineup. So I would like him to stick around regardless of how this year pans out. I mean, I just don't see him as a guy who just spirals out of control. That never seems to happen with him. So I wanted to highlight him first because you mentioned him. I'll get to Bowman in a second, but just wanted to see if you had anything else to say on Stott.
No, I did want to kind of bounce back to like Nola though. I mean, I've been one of the biggest Nola haters that has been this year. So I mean, I kind of got to give him his flowers a little bit. I mean, the Cubs just got done laying it onto the Dodgers here this weekend or this past series. I guess it would be midweek series, but still, I mean, I think they took 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers. They had a lot of high scoring games and Nola went out there and he just silenced them for 7 innings pretty much. So, I mean, that was more needed than anything that happened this entire weekend. 2 out of 3 does not matter. As long as Nola's pitching like that, I'm happy coming out of it with that, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that was definitely really good to see. Jesus Luzardo, obviously, he's just – that guy's incredible. I don't even know. Like, yeah, we were high on him before the season. Like, we were both very high on that trade. And, I mean – that what else can you say? He's been probably the second best starter in the NL behind Paul Skeens to start the season. So
sure,
just kind of speaks volumes. I mean, Wheeler hasn't even been near as good as him.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, it was funny. I think I saw someone on Twitter was talking about like they were concerned about Wheeler. I looked back. I forget what year it was. I think it was 21 or 22. The guy had like a 5 ERA in April. And he was completely fine.
I don't care about what Wheeler's doing right now. I mean, he's going to deliver when you need it.
Right. And I think whatever year it was that happened, he ended with a 2.82 ERA. His whip was like 1.1. He's fine. I mean, I'm really not concerned about him. So just wanted to put that out there too. Not saying you were saying that, but like I know some people are like, man, Wheeler doesn't look the same this year. Like that is going to level out as the year goes on. I'm not concerned.
Yeah.
But to go back to Luzardo, man, I mean, that guy is just incredible. He has been magnificent this year. I'm super excited to see like just kind of the progression he has under Caleb Cotham as time goes on. I really think I know it's kind of early to have an extension for him. I just really think they're headed in that. I think it's going to head in that direction pretty quickly. He's just that good.
If he's healthy, he's one of the best left-handed starting pitchers in baseball. Like it's pretty simple.
And the thing is, like you have him and Ranger. I mean, again, I love Ranger, so I don't want to say any disrespect to him, but you're extending Luzardo. I mean, if they both have injury issues and back issues, you're going to take Luzardo 9 times out of 10 because while Ranger has been great in the playoffs, the potential with Luzardo, I think, is through the roof. I think Ranger, he does have a lot of potential, but I think you kind of know who he's going to be at this point, and that's fine. Like Ranger's a really, really good starting pitcher, but I'd rather extend Luzardo at this point if it's going to come down to that. And there's other guys like you might have to sacrifice a couple other extensions. I don't care because at this point, and we won't get into who those are because that'll come with time, but you have the potential to have Christopher Sanchez, Jesus Luzardo, and Andrew Painter as your top 3 down the road for years and years and years to come. They've already extended Sanchez. Painter's under control for how long? All you need to do is extend Luzardo there. And again, you're going to have to sacrifice some other deals to make that happen. I understand that.
I think you have Nola as well.
You have Nola under contract, and he's, like you said, he's durable. You know what you're getting out of Nola. Like, I think he'll age fine. I think he's a good regular season pitcher late in his career. Not sure how his playoff career looks as he gets late in his career. Cross that bridge when we get there. But like, if you have those three guys, it may not even matter. I mean, and you still have Wheeler for 3 more years, this year, next year, and the year after. So you're in a really good spot rotation wise. I just think with those 3 guys, like, that is your future right there. And if you can get Luzardo locked down, I think if you have that trio, they have other guys who are going to fill out the 4 and 5 behind them who are going to win games too. Like, they don't have a problem there. So with that trio, I think you just have the chance to compete every year, even if you're retooling on certain years. That is such a special group to have.
Yeah, 100%. And I kind of had a question like brewing for you a little bit.
Sure.
Right now, if we were heading into a wild card series, you got to win 2 out of 3. You got Wheeler game 1. Who's game 2? Is it Sanchez or Luzardo?
I think it's got to be Luzardo at this point. I think he's just really impressed. I don't know, though. It's hard, man. I mean, Sanchez was nails for the most part in that Mets game last year. He had one bad pitch. He gave up a home run. I think at this point, maybe it's just because Luzardo is new, and maybe I'm a little biased where it's the new guy. He can't do any wrong. Maybe you go Sanchez. He's a little more reliable. It depends on if it's home or away, I think. Like, if it's home, I think maybe you go Sanchez. He's great at home. Not that he's bad on the road. It's just he's way, way better on at Citizens Bank Park. If you are on the road in that wild card series, that's tough. I mean, we did see what happened to Luzardo when you and me were both at that game, Drew. Not together, but we saw what happened to Luzardo in that game. It was quite unfortunate. I think he's past that at this point. I think he's a different pitcher under Caleb Cotham. And you saw what happened. Like, the other day, he faced Kyle Tucker. He made him look silly. I mean, challenged him up and away with a 97-mile-an-hour fastball painted on the corner and struck him out. So I just think with that, like, I guess it depends on who you're playing too, but they're both lefties, and that's a really good question. They're both lefties. They're both ace potential guys. Like, I don't know. I'm curious who you would say. Like, I'm not. It's something where whoever anyone says, I'm not going to be mad at who they say. But I'd probably go Luzardo as of right now. But I'm curious who you would say. And I'm still listening. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I think it's probably for me. It's got to be Sanchez. I don't know why. It's just I feel like his pedigree plays a little bit better in the playoffs, like a ground ball kind of pitcher that he doesn't get the ball in the air too much. I mean, Luzardo doesn't as well either, but I don't know. I think that changeup in the playoffs is like, I don't know. I just feel like there's something about it. Like I can't really explain it, but I think Luzardo is obviously very, very good, and I would have the other one start game 3 if they didn't start game 2. I mean, I trust them over Nola 100% right now, and yeah, I don't know. I think it's got to be Sanchez for me right now, but things can change. He could have a bad regular season down the line or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. And Sanchez, again, like you said, the changeup is still one of the best pitches in baseball. It's definitely one of the top 2 or 3 changeups in baseball for sure. So, I don't know. I don't think there's really a wrong answer there. I guess it just kind of depends on who's hot going into the playoffs and who earns it at that point. So, and Chris, good to see you in here. Always a blessing to have you on the live streams. I know we've talked in the group chats about Ranger as the closer. Yeah, if he wasn't in a contract year and if Scott Boras wasn't his agent, possibly, but probably not going to happen. So that being said, Rangers looked. I didn't see how he looked yesterday in his rehab start, but he's pretty close to getting back too. So that'll be awesome to have him. Taiwan was honestly fine in his place. Like, Taiwan looks way better than last year, in my opinion. That's not hard to top, but I just think it's night and day. Like, I think he's improved a lot. The weighted ball program definitely worked out. And I do think he deserves some credit. And I think he'll be they're going to need him at some point again. Like, guys are going to get hurt, and they have to try to manage Luzardo through this. And then Sanchez, they're thinking about skipping one of his starts because of his injury too. Like, there's things where they're just going to need a guy like Taiwan. I mean, until Painter's really ready. So we'll see what happens there, but definitely did his job. And I would say in his place, he wasn't perfect, but he gave them a chance to win a number of games. And then it'll be good to have Ranger back though, too.
Yeah. And like you said, Taiwan, he's been mostly fine. I mean, he's not going to be, an ace or anything. He's going to give up runs. He's going to walk guys. That's just the way it goes with him. But overall, I mean, he's prevented runs for the most part. He's gotten into jams, gotten out of jams. Kind of not gotten out of jam sometimes, just the way it goes with him. But like he's overall been very, very good compared to last year. And he's a fine 5th starter if you need to plug him in there for a couple starts, if somebody goes on the IL or whatever it may be. So, yeah, I'm not really too concerned with him. Like, he's going to go to the bullpen. He's going to be the long man. If somebody, would go out of a game early, he's going to eat up those innings for us. and he's probably going to give you a chance to win the game at this point. I mean, the way he's been pitching. So, yeah, I mean, he hasn't completely destroyed my hope with him like he did last year. So that's a good
Yeah,
thing. But
for sure.
to kind of touch on a little bit more on the rotation, Andrew Painter's looked very good, and that's exciting because
Very exciting.
he's very close to being back, and I think we're 2 months away, maybe.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, July is kind of the earliest they talked about calling him up, and it looks like he's going to be ready by then. I mean, I know it's early, but
Yeah, I mean he's throwing 98 to 100 pretty consistently with that fastball, and his breaking stuff is grading out very well from what I've seen. Like it looks
yes.
good on video, and it looks good on the sheets as well, like the analytic sheets. So it's exciting. I mean, I kind of get giddy talking about it because he's so good.
Yeah.
He's like Paul Skeens, but he's not really talked about.
Right, right. Yeah, I have also like seen and heard the same things about his breaking stuff too. Like you said, like I think it's starting. I think in fall league it was starting to grade out well, and I think now it's. I think there's. I don't know. You correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like people have been saying it's grading out better than it did before he was hurt too, which is really encouraging. So, yeah, I mean, if his secondary stuff's going to play too, you got a real problem on your hands if you're facing him. So that's going to be super exciting. I think we're all kind of like anticipating that, regardless of what happens this year. Like if they, don't really play up to their expectations, that's something that's really exciting to look forward to. So very pumped about that. And Chris asked if we think Painter could be called up before any potential Ranger trade. I don't think a Ranger trade is a guarantee at this point. I do think he is a valuable trade piece just because he might be one of your most valuable assets that you could trade. He's in a contract year. Obviously, teams know the postseason pedigree with him. He's been a very good starting pitcher. There's no way around that. Like he's a really good talent, and they have a surplus there. They have an embarrassment of riches. Even Mick Abel has looked really good in AAA this year. Like he finally seems like he's starting to come along now, and he's only 24. So you have options there if you do trade one of these guys in the rotation, whether it's Taiwan, who for a team that needs depth, or Ranger. But I don't think they'll trade Ranger just to call up Painter. Painter's coming up no matter what. He's going to force his way into the rotation. They will probably run 6-man for a couple weeks when he comes up. After that, I'm very curious to see how they manage it because they can't start everyone after that. And I know they do need to manage Luzardo as well. That's another thing to consider. Like he's not going to be able to go the full season. They're going to have to skip some of his starts or like have an IL stint or something because he had the injuries before. So that's kind of where I stand on that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really see them trading Ranger because if you trade him and somebody gets hurt, like then you're back to Taiwan, and that's not really ideal. Like he's been fine in Ranger's stead, but it's not what you want. Like if you have Ranger on the roster, you can comfortably start him in a playoff game, like more than comfortably. If you have a 7-game series and you need your fourth starter, you might start him over Nola at some point. Like I don't know. I mean, Nola's obviously very good in big spots usually, in important games, I should say. But I mean, I don't know. Depends how the regular season goes. Depends how they're pitching. Injuries happen. So I don't know. I really that's a complicated topic because there's so many possibilities. So
sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm curious, like what kind of trade you would include Ranger for that would upgrade your team to. Like, what does that look like? Because like center field's a really tough position. There's not a lot of guys there. Luis Roberts been actually worse than Rojas so far this year, offensively and defensively. So that unfortunately doesn't help you very much at the moment. I mean, you could buy low on him, but yeah, he's not been off to a good start. And yeah, I don't know. Like, there's just not. I guess you could say someone in left field, but like Kepler's been fine. And that's the thing. Like Kepler is going to be fine the whole year, and he's been actually really a lot better lately. He's not the left fielder that people wanted that would be a significant upgrade. It's unfortunate. It was really the only spot we had room to upgrade. He's fine though. Like, I just don't really think like upgrading from him, it would have to be a significant upgrade for you to do something there. And I don't even know who that is. The outfield market's been terrible. So
yeah, I mean, it's not going to get you like a Mason Miller kind of guy or anything like that. Like his value is very limited because he gets hurt a lot, and he's he's only going to be playing every 5th day. It's not like he's an everyday. I don't know. Starting pitching is very valuable at the deadline. Don't get me wrong, but like, what are you going to do? Like you said, where are you going to upgrade? Are you going to trade him and somebody else to upgrade a position that person's playing? I don't know.
sure.
It's just so complicated. Do you want prospects? Do you want?
Right.
I don't know. You don't trade him. I don't think. I think you just leave it how it is and take your very good rotation into the playoffs and let it carry you to a World Series.
Yeah, and the other thing is like if you trade him to like let's live in a hypothetical here for a second because we were talking about it in the Discord today. Ryan Helsley, for example, like that, as obviously if he gets traded, like or if he's really on the market, he will be one of the biggest players on the market for sure. Also, keep in mind in a contract year as well. Tanner Scott just got paid 4 years, $72 million, and Helsley's probably going to get more. Are you prepared to trade for Helsley and then give him that extension? That's question number one. Second part of that is Rangers in a contract year too. So like, are the Cardinals going to be like, yeah, he's younger, but like, are they going to want to take a guy in a contract year for like, they need to get at the maximum value possible they can get for Ryan Helsley.
They're going to want prospects because they're not in win now mode. Like Rangers a win now kind of player. Like you trade for him as a rental. And if you want to extend him, you can extend him. If you want to let him walk, no harm, no foul, you know?
So it's complicated, point being.
Yeah.
And I think that's the tough thing. I don't think Helsley is going to be, I mean, if someone gets him, that's like an elite upgrade for whoever gets him, obviously. But I just don't think there's a lot of players on the market this trade deadline. It's early. There's a lot of things to be sorted out. I just don't think there's going to be a lot of guys on the market this trade deadline that are really, and it's been that way for the past couple of years. But got a few comments here on like Rincones and Crawford. I see you guys, Jerry Lee and 3-Card Monty in here. You can take that one first, Drew. I have some thoughts, but I've been talking a lot.
Yeah, I'm gonna bounce back for 1 second to the bullpen thing.
Yeah,
like
go for it.
They don't have to add like a Ryan Helsley. Like if they want to add like a guy that's like more like middle to end, more middle to the back, like Tanner Banks has been fine, and they gave up like nothing to get him. You know, I don't know. I don't trust him in high leverage, but as like a middle reliever, you know, like they could trade for a guy that's slightly better than him, and they would help you out later in the game. You know, Jose Ruiz has been terrible, and they need to do something to upgrade the bullpen at some point, whether that's a prospect they bring up through their system or whatever. But I mean, I don't know. I think they can give you marginal upgrades, but I don't think they're going to go out and trade for Ryan Helsley. That's just my opinion. Yeah, but as far as like Rincones or anybody like that, I just don't think it's happening. Because the outfield has been, I mean, getting better as of late. Castellanos has been fine all season. Rojas has been very good in the last 2 weeks. And obviously Kepler's been showing some signs of life here lately, and he's on a $10 million contract. They're not going to just cut ties with him. So,
yeah. Yeah, and I think for Rincones, like he's still a platoon. So I think he's more of a after Castellanos contract is up type of deal. Like I don't think that's an immediate thing. Crawford, I think they want him to I think they want to see like the Phillies front office, and it seems like the league as a whole like has very varying opinions on him. So that he's a complicated situation. Obviously, he hits the ball into the ground 99% of the time. So I think they want to see if that'll change at some point before they give him a call. I don't think anything's happening with him at this point. I mean, Otto Kemp's the only guy who you could really say might be nearing a call up, but where does he play? He doesn't have a position. I've also seen that, like, I think he does chase a decent bit. So there's issues there. Like, is he going to get exposed to major league pitching? You're not really in a rush to move him up. If someone gets hurt, I could see him getting added to the 40-man and maybe getting the call. I just don't think he's quite ready yet. I know a lot of people are calling for him to get called up, but I just don't think it's quite all there yet. So we'll see in time. But
and like if somebody would get hurt, it's not going to be Otto Kemp coming up or Justin Crawford coming up to take their place. It's going to be Edmundo Sosa playing in the outfield or in the infield, wherever you need him. You know, it's not realistic, and they're not going to bring up Crawford because, for one, right now he's just a worse Johan Rojas. Like, and Johan's been fine, so like you definitely don't want to touch center field right now. I think you let him go until things cool off. He's obviously had some luck involved with what's been going on. He's hitting a lot of ground balls through the middle, which that's fine. A guy like him, you have speed like that, put the ball in play, see what happens.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But Crawford's he's not ready, and his defense is it's good, but it's not Johan Rojas good, and his bat is okay, and it's been fine at AAA, but it's been up and down, and he's still not he's not hitting for power. He's hitting singles, and if he hits a double, it's just because of his speed. It's not because of his bat.
For sure. And I think also, I know some people are going to very much disagree with this. I think Marsh is going to be fine long term. I don't know if we're going to get the 2022, 2023 version of Marsh. I'm not saying that. But I do think him and Rojas can coexist to form a good center field the rest of the season. Obviously, I'd prefer that wasn't the case. Like, I'd prefer we have a better solution than that. I think, like you said, you have to ride Rojas a little bit. He's starting to cool off now, but you have to ride him a little bit, give him opportunities to keep him in a rhythm. He's played well the last week and a half or so. He's also been one of the only ones hitting situationally too, which is weird to say. Like, it's very surprising, but he's had some big hits in some big spots. I know Marsh is not rehabbed well. He just had the cramp today too, so that is a major problem right now, or it just seems like a major barrier to him coming back anytime soon. So we'll see how that progresses, but I think you have to trust that he can just share some time with Rojas and they can figure it out together and be the solution. But yeah, and as far as this goes too, apparently I think John McMillan's velocity dipped like by 10 miles an hour once he got back into the season starting. So unfortunately, not really much there. But we can talk about Seth Johnson in a minute. But I think you had something to say, Drew.
Yeah, as far as like the Rojas and Marsh situation goes, I mean, yeah, Marsh is like one of those guys that everybody kind of has high expectations for, but those guys are hitting at 9 in your lineup. Like you don't need them to hit 300, you know, like those guys, like look at the Dodgers. Their bottom half of their lineup is not that strong. And
correct.
The Phillies, like we're spoiled, you know, like we're just a bunch of spoiled brats cuz like we think 1 through 9 they need to be hitting like, you know, 275 plus with 20 home runs, you know, that's not realistic. Like you're getting Johan out there every day. He plays elite center field. You know, he's not going to make too many mistakes like he did last night. And I don't know. It's just, I hate to like be the bearer of bad news, but you know, you're not going to always have people at the bottom of the lineup hitting 300.
Sure. No, absolutely. And I did want to bring up, since Three Card Monty brought up the AAA reliever, I did want to bring up Seth Johnson because I know he is. They're now transitioning him from a starter to a reliever, which makes sense. Like he's 25, 26 now. Didn't really work. I mean, he had a short stint last year in the big leagues. It wasn't very long, obviously, but did not look good as a starter. That being said, his velo is fairly high. I think he throws fastball slider. I'm not quite sure, and I think he's added a changeup since down in AAA recently, which that is a big help. So you have 3 pitches there. I think it's really just. I think Gelb was saying it on Twitter, like he just has to throw strikes. That's the biggest thing. And if he can do that, he's going to probably land an opportunity because while there has been, you know, obviously Kirkering and Romano had some nice outings recently, or I think they both pitched last night, if I'm not mistaken. That was good to see. Kirkering needs that right now. We can talk about it another time, but I mean, like you said, Jose Ruiz, he is not going to spend the whole year on the major league roster at this point. Like he just can't. No disrespect to the guy, it's just not there. And then you have, I mean, Carlos Hernandez is probably going as soon as Ranger Suarez gets back. So he's probably just going to be going regardless. But it was fun. It was fun while it lasted, I guess you could say. And then Joe Ross is in a really weird spot to where it's like he was brought on to be the swingman. They got Jesus Luzardo. They still have Taiwan Walker. Like, I don't really know where he fits in long term. They also gave him $4 million, which that's not nothing. So like, I guess they kind of have to give him some run, but regardless, a spot is going to open up for Seth Johnson at some point, whether it's Jose Ruiz or someone else. So I'm curious to see if he can kind of help that bullpen. If he can be a good middle reliever for them and then work into high leverage occasionally, that'd be great. That would be beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, if he can be what Jose Ruiz was last year and stay consistent with that, you know, that's fine. And they'll take that all day, every day, because they essentially got him for nothing from the Orioles. Like, I never understood that trade from the beginning. Like, we kind of like offloaded bad players to the Orioles and we got back prospects. So I'm not sure how that works, but you know, I definitely think Seth Johnson has what it takes to be a reliever as far as stuff goes. So it's just all about getting him in the strike zone and seeing what happens from there, because obviously stuff plays in the bullpen and it doesn't always play in the rotation because you got to throw so many innings and it's a lot more work.
Yeah, going through the lineup 3 times versus going through one part of the order once is a lot different. So,
and they're going to give you favorable matchups in that as well. So
exactly. Yep. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm really curious to see what he looks like when he gets up here, because I think he is going to be given that opportunity at some point. So you don't want to rush it. You want to make sure he's ready for it when the time comes. But he's progressing and has most recent, like I think 2 or 3 relief outings, he's gotten better. So
Yep.
things look good right now. But is there anything else you wanted to touch on before we wrap up?
No, I think I'm good.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate it. We'll be live another time soon, talking some Phils as the season progresses here. Thank you guys so much for all the support. And anything you want to say, Drew, before we sign off?
Nope. Have everybody enjoy the next series coming up. It's Nationals, so hopefully we can bully them around. Maybe take all 3. We'll see. But yeah, have a good night, guys.
Have a good night. God bless you all, and see you guys soon. Peace.